you are thinking about moving to Holly Springs in 2025, you've got to watch this first. Stay tuned.
Kicking it off with the location of Holly Springs. So it is southwest of Raleigh. It is just directly south of Apex, directly north of Fuquay. It's actually in a decently convenient location. So you're gonna be 30 minutes or less from a lot of your major areas like a Research Triangle Park, a Durham, the heart of Raleigh. And so it may not be as convenient as a place like Cary, but it's pretty convenient.
And something I just love so much about Holly Springs is just how much has come here in the last 10 years. There is so much to do in this town as it has developed over the last 5 to 10 years, but still really looking a lot at natural areas that you do have access to, like Bass Lake, Suggs Farm. You've got Ting Park, Womble Park, lots of spaces. We always joke that like if you have a kid in Little League, like Holly Springs is the place to go because all the parks here have like so many athletic fields. So just a lot to do here at Bass Lake, just like super peaceful and nice. And you have a lot of access to shopping in the area right within Holly Springs. It doesn't feel like you have to leave Holly Springs to get to your like major shopping. It's like you're gonna have to drive into Raleigh to go to Target or, you know, Chick-fil-A and stuff like that. It's all right here. So you have a lot of access to stuff right within the town.
You do, and there's even plans to expand some of those areas. So there's preliminary plans of turning Ting Park into more of like a mixed-use development, a place that has some restaurants and a hotel and just kind of expanding what's already here. And so there's a lot of like really exciting plans coming down the pipeline for Holly Springs.
For sure, and a lot more also expansion of the Greenway Trail system here. There is a trail system here and they are continuing to add more mileage to that. So it's a really great thing to be in an area that is growing in a positive way.
Yeah, for sure. In terms of home prices, Holly Springs is actually quite a bit more affordable than its next door neighbors of Apex and Cary. So the median home price, this is single family only, in 2025 in Holly Springs is $650,000. So you're talking almost $100,000 difference from a place like Cary, roughly $100,000 difference. If you add in townhomes, sometimes that makes a substantial difference in some areas, but it doesn't in Holly Springs, so that pulls it down to $625,000. There's just not enough townhomes to really adjust that price too much. When it comes to neighborhood styles, I think that's one of the things that Holly Springs kind of shines with. You have neighborhoods like this at Sunset Ridge where you have a lot of tree cover. It kind of reminds me of like a Wake Forest where you can find new construction and you can also find older neighborhoods like this that have the tree canopy over the streets. It's just a really beautiful area.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we love this neighborhood. You've also got Sunset Oaks and 12 Oaks, which are also gorgeous neighborhoods with a lot of amenities. Holly Springs in general, I feel like just all the neighborhoods here feel like they have like resort style amenities. Like there's like water slides and little splash pads and things like that at the neighborhood pools, which is really kind of unique to Holly Springs compared to some other surrounding areas, and really just a fun place to live.
And it's not just the development of places like the parks or the commercial space as far as like retail and restaurants go that's going on in Holly Springs. There's also significant economic development with companies moving in and opening up manufacturing facilities. So in our last video we did like a year ago, we talked about the Fujifilm development going into Holly Springs. Recently, like a couple weeks ago, Genentech, which is a pharmaceutical manufacturer, announced a $700 million investment into Holly Springs. It's going to bring 420 jobs, averaging about $120,000 salary. So pretty substantial jobs. So Holly Springs is doing a really good job at not just building out, you know, the neighborhoods or the open spaces for people to enjoy, but also bringing in the jobs, which is really cool.
Yeah, it's really exciting to see that growth and have really big companies. It's not just, you know, a restaurant coming in, but a major employer coming into the area and kind of piggybacking off of other major employers coming into the area. So it's almost like RTP is moving its way into Holly Springs.
Probably not close to that, but they're expanding a little bit, a little wing of it.
A hub.
Yeah, a little hub.
So we've mentioned a lot of the great things about Holly Springs, but what are some of the cons to living in Holly Springs? There are definitely things to know about moving to Holly Springs before you make a decision that you might decide, I don't want to live here because of something like this. And here in Holly Springs, there is a nuclear power plant. That scares a lot of people off. You know, it's there's never been an issue with it here in Holly Springs, but that is something to be aware of if you're thinking about moving to the area.
It actually scares less people off than I think it would, than I would have thought it would. You know, the conversations I have with folks, I always mention that when they're looking in Holly Springs. I would say more people than not just kind of shrug it off. And there's parts of Holly Springs, like where we are right now, where you literally wouldn't know that it was here. And there's other parts of Holly Springs, especially on the western side, some of the newer neighborhoods where it's very apparent. So it's just gonna kind of depend on what part of Holly Springs you're in as far as like how noticeable it is. But it's there regardless, obviously. And I would say the other con is just traffic in general. So Highway 55 is really gonna be the main highway that gets you out of Holly Springs. Or even like if you live down in Fuquay, you may take Highway 55 as well. And so it does get very crowded, not like Capitol Boulevard level crowded, so it's not like Wake Forest level, but as this area continues to grow, that is gonna be a strain in the area, and it's gonna continue to kind of, you know, feel crowded, probably more crowded as it grows. So I think those are probably the two main cons when you think about moving into Holly Springs and kind of knowing, you know, what it's gonna be like to live here. We are Zach and Cindy Honeycutt, a couple of real estate agents in the area. So if you are looking to buy or sell, we'd love to be your real estate resource of choice. You can find our contact info below, and you can also find us on Instagram.
Yep, we'd love to have you follow along with us over on Instagram. You can find us at the Honeycutt Realtors. Feel free to DM us there as well if that's more your vibe over texting or calling. If you're interested in restaurant reviews, things going on, developments in the area, we'd also love for you to follow along at our other channel, the RDU Buzz, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
Yep, see you next time.